Hello, my dear subscribers. I am NORKA, the scientist dog. Everyone knows that dogs are social creatures, very empathetic and dependent on humans. But at the same time, they have their own special body language, their own unique logic of relationships, which stems from their instincts and experience. If we, as humans, don't learn to notice the signals that a dog sends us and don't try to see the world through their eyes, it will be hard for us to avoid unfortunate mistakes in communication. Unfortunately, we often do things that dogs actually don't like at all. Sometimes they put up with it because they've learned to trust their owner. But such patience can lead to chronic irritation, stress, and in the worst case, aggression in the dog. Later in the video, we will go over 10 typical situations that, according to experienced veterinarians, dog trainers, and regular owners, most often cause dogs to feel displeased. We will also talk about how we can make our four-legged friend's life better by freeing them from unnecessary grievances and discomfort. Each point is based on simple observations, but together they paint a powerful picture of invisible problems. Try to take our advice to heart, because it affects not only your dog's comfort, but also the harmony in your relationship. First, constant chatter without clear meaning. We humans have highly developed speech. We're used to expressing words and emotions in a stream of phrases. Come here. What are you doing? Let's eat? No, not there. Oh, what a good boy. Our speech can flow non-stop, especially if we love chatting with our pet, telling him about our day. But, as training experts say, a dog understands only a limited number of words. Intonation, gestures, and body language are much more important to him. If you go on with a monologue, repeating contradictory commands, the dog can get confused. It simply stops picking out truly important signals from the overall flow. Dogs understand clear, short commands perfectly, especially when accompanied by a gesture. For example, sit with a raised palm or heel with the appropriate hand gesture. When we fill our speech with lots of unnecessary words, saturated with emotional overtones, the dog can get confused, unable to distinguish what's important from what's meaningless. Many owners believe that their pet enjoys it when they talk to them almost like to a person. But in reality, it's more important for speech to be consistent, calm, and clear. This makes it easier for the dog to understand and reduces the stress of trying to figure out what is being asked of it. Second, forcing dogs to wear funny costumes. Funny photos of dogs in dresses, glasses, and party hats rack up millions of likes on social media. We laugh, thinking our pets are having fun too. But the truth is, most dogs don't enjoy wearing clothes. Joke costumes restrict their natural movements, frighten them, or make them uncomfortable. The dog has to put up with it because he's attached to his owner and doesn't want to resist. Sometimes he stands there looking guilty, with his ears down and exaggeratedly stiff movements, but we mistakenly see this as a funny pose. Meanwhile, in reality, the dog is stressed. If we're talking about functional clothing, a warm jumpsuit for short-haired breeds in severe frost, or a raincoat in a heavy downpour, that's a different story. That's more about care than indulgence. But when a dog is dressed in pants, an angel wing costume, a crown, or headphones, it's simply uncomfortable for them. It's better to refrain from such outfits if you truly respect your four-legged friend's feelings. Third, constant patting on the head. Many of us are used to petting a dog on the top of its head without thinking, "Good boy," and our hand is already rubbing the back of its head and ears. But let's think about it. Do we enjoy it when someone constantly touches our face or head without warning? Dogs have a reflex to close their eyes to protect themselves from potential danger. After all, we are invading their personal space. A dog doesn't always protest, because it understands that its owner won't cause harm, but subconsciously, it's still an uncomfortable feeling. Many dog trainers recommend that it's better to pet a dog on its back, behind the ears, on the sides, or on the chest. These areas are more often associated with pleasant contact for the dog and don't trigger an anxious reflex. If you still want to pat the dog on the head, do it gently and carefully, and watch the animal's reaction. You'll quickly notice that when you gently touch a dog from below or from the side, it relaxes, but if you touch it abruptly from above, it may flinch slightly or squint. Fourth, looking a dog directly in the eyes. In human culture, direct eye contact is often seen as a sign of openness, politeness, and attentiveness. However, for canine dogs, wolves, foxes' direct, intense staring can be a gesture of threat or a challenge for dominance. Of course, a dog that has lived with you for a long time and loves you is unlikely to attack just because of a direct gaze, but it may feel uncomfortable, turn away, avert its eyes, or show signs of stress. To avoid creating unnecessary tension, it's helpful not to stare directly into a dog's eyes for too long, but instead to look slightly to the side, or even use a sideways glance. If you want to establish contact, it's better to use a calm posture, a gentle voice, and a friendly gesture. This way, you'll show that you don't pose a threat and aren't trying to challenge for dominance. Fifth, lack of clarity in the rules. Dogs, as pack animals, highly value a clear hierarchy and consistency. If we forbid a dog from lying on the couch, but then suddenly, giving in to a pleading look, allow it, the dog gets confused. Today it's allowed, but tomorrow it's forbidden. Or, for example, the owner gets upset when the dog begs for food from the table, but on a holiday, gives it a treat themselves. Naturally, the dog interprets this as a signal. If I persist, sooner or later I'll get what I want. Such inconsistency creates anxiety in the animal. It doesn't understand what exactly is expected of it. To avoid this problem, it's enough to stick to a single line of behavior. If you've decided that the dog isn't allowed in the kitchen while you're cooking, make sure to always follow this rule. The same applies to walks, meal times, sleeping areas, and playtime together. The clearer the rules, the easier it is for the dog. It knows what to expect and lives without stress or the need to figure out how you'll act this time. 6. Hugging and squeezing. We humans are used to expressing love through hugs. We hold our loved ones tight, kiss them, and put our arms around their shoulders. But for many dogs, hugs are not a completely natural gesture. When someone wraps their arms around them from the sides or from behind, restricting their movement, it can be perceived as a limitation. Scientists from the United States conducted studies analyzing photographs of people hugging dogs and the dogs' reactions. It turned out that most animals display signs of stress, ears pulled back, licking their noses, squinting their eyes, turning their heads, and yawning. This doesn't mean that your dog doesn't love you or can't stand being touched at all. Many dogs are quite tolerant of their owner occasionally hugging them. But it's important to be able to tell when your dog is seeking out your lap or cuddling up to you on their own, and when they're simply enduring it because they have no other choice. Physical contact is a wonderful thing, as long as it's comfortable for both sides. It's better to replace tight bear hugs with gentle petting, relaxing together nearby, or playful touches. 7th, taking out your bad mood. We're all human, we have bad days, and we can get irritated or feel sad. But a dog, more than anyone else, is very sensitive to our emotional state. The dog wants to understand what's going on, to help its owner, and sometimes it even starts to get anxious itself when it sees that something is wrong. And the dog perceives this as unfair treatment. It doesn't understand why its beloved person has become so irritable or harsh. It's important to learn to control your emotions around your dog, and remember that the animal isn't to blame for your stress. If you feel overwhelmed, it's better to take a deep breath, distract yourself, and give yourself time to calm down. A dog should not become a lightning rod for human emotions. On the contrary, many people actually improve their mood by petting their dog or taking it for a walk. Let your four-legged friend help you relieve stress, but don't make them bear the brunt of your anger. 8th, blowing in a dog's face or ears. To us, it might seem amusing to blow into a dog's nose or ear just to see how it wrinkles its face or pulls its head away. But for the dog, these sensations are very unpleasant. Blowing in its face violates its boundaries, deprives it of the ability to breathe and orient itself properly. The dog might try to react playfully or even snap back. It all depends on its temperament and the level of trust it has in its owner. If you repeat this kind of joke over and over, the animal will start to fear your sudden movements and may avoid coming close so you don't start fooling around again. It's important to respect your dog's personal space just as you respect the personal space of your loved ones, even if it seems to you like it's just harmless fun. If your dog shows signs of discomfort, turns away, pins its ears back, or recoils, pay closer attention. It's trying to tell you that it doesn't enjoy this kind of interaction. 9th, taking the same walking route day after day. It might be convenient for us to take the same path. Leave the house, turn the corner, walk down the alley, and head back. But for the dog, there's little excitement in this. Yes, it's still nice for them to stretch their legs a bit. However, a dog is a curious creature. It explores the world through scents, new places, and new experiences. If the route doesn't change for years, the dog starts to get bored. It's especially bad when the owner doesn't even let the dog sniff the bushes or a patch of ground, hurrying them along with, "Come on, let's go already." Try to add some variety to your walks from time to time. Take a different route or visit a park your dog hasn't been to yet. Let them sniff the trees and take in the fresh air. Add an element of play, throw a ball, hide a treat, or ask them to perform a command. Dogs truly value shared activities. This way, they see that their owner isn't just dragging them along on a leash, but is interacting with them and providing mental stimulation. 10th, taking your dog everywhere, even where it's uncomfortable for them. We love our pets very much and want them to accompany us in all aspects of life. But sometimes, the place we're going to is simply not suitable for a dog. For example, in a crowded shopping mall, there's noise, jostling, and people might accidentally step on their paws. If the dog is large, it might scare children or even have a nervous breakdown from the constant stress. In grocery stores, large dogs are often not allowed, and small ones are only permitted if they're in carriers. The dog doesn't understand why it's suddenly being stuffed into a bag, where it's cramped and stuffy. It's more sensible to leave your dog at home for a while than to make it suffer in an unsuitable environment. If possible, arrange a cozy spot where your pet can comfortably wait for your return. Of course, there are dog-friendly places, parks, special cafes, veterinary clinics, places where your pet really needs to go. But before you take your dog out in public, ask yourself, will it actually be comfortable there? Or will it just end up feeling anxious and exhausted? It's important to remember. Of course, a list of 10 points is by no means exhaustive. A dog can be irritated or frightened by many other things: loud sudden noises, fireworks, firecrackers, abrupt changes in their owner's mood, conflicts with other dogs, and so on. But there is one main lesson. A dog can't use words to ask you to stop. He communicates through body language and facial expressions, flattening his ears, turning away, licking his nose, shrinking back, averting his gaze, or whining. It's the owner's job to learn to notice these signals and respond to them with understanding. Your four-legged friend is trying to tell you, "I don't like this, I'm scared, I'm stressed." If you respond to this signal with attention and empathy, you will maintain your dog's trust, avoid conflicts, and improve its quality of life. Remember that every dog is unique. Some may enjoy things that others can't stand. For example, some dogs love having their ears scratched, while others find it irritating. Some dogs tolerate a fancy outfit on special occasions without any trouble, while others get anxious as soon as you try to put any accessory on them. Observe your pet, learn its body language, and try to understand in which situations it feels comfortable or, on the contrary, uncomfortable. Trial and error combined with advice from dog trainers and veterinarians works best. The most important thing is to love your dog not just for being there, but for its uniqueness, and try to make its life happier. Additional facts to help you understand your dog even better. A dog's sense of smell. Scientists believe that dogs can detect scents that are tens or even hundreds of times more subtle than what humans can perceive. This means that while a faint scent might go unnoticed by us, a dog perceives an entire bouquet of smells. Imagine how much new information it receives when sniffing around the yard or on the street. For a dog, it's almost like reading the news online. Don't even think about depriving your dog of this information. A dog's hearing. They can hear ultrasound and sounds above the range of the human ear, and their ear muscles allow them to orient their ears in different directions. That's why loud, unexpected noises can cause much more panic in a dog than in us. Fireworks or firecrackers are a real nightmare for many dogs, who hear them much louder and have no idea where the noise is coming from. Olfactory memory. Dogs can remember scents and associate them with events. For example, if your dog was once frightened at the vet's office, then smelling those medical scents again can make him feel anxious all over again. This explains why some dogs do everything they can to resist going to the vet as soon as they catch that familiar scent. The importance of routine. Many breeds are routine-oriented. Walks at a certain time, meals on a strict schedule, sleep according to a timetable. The more stable the routine, the calmer the dog. Sudden changes can throw an animal off balance, since it lives by a biological clock set to familiar rituals. Social structure. Dogs have a pack instinct. They try to figure out who is the leader and who follows. If you are inconsistent, the dog may decide you lack leadership qualities and try to take a higher position. This can lead to disobedience and problematic behavior. That is why we emphasize the importance of clear rules. How do you find the balance between care and respect? The main secret is that good upbringing and love for your dog do not contradict each other. When you understand that your pet is not just a funny toy, but a living being with its own emotions, it becomes easier to give up things that are unpleasant for them. At the same time, no one is asking you to stop showing affection, warmth, or playing together. On the contrary, your bond will become even stronger if you learn to communicate with an understanding of canine psychology. Pay attention to the signals. If your dog starts to get nervous, lick its lips, or turn away during your actions, think about why this is happening and whether it can be changed. Give up habits that are clearly unpleasant for your dog. There's no point in dressing your dog up in ridiculous costumes or shaking its paws just for funny photos. Give your dog a choice whenever possible. Does it want to hide in a cozy corner, or would it rather sit next to you? If there's no safety risk, let your dog choose where it feels most comfortable. Vary your walks, make them interesting for your dog, allow it to sniff, explore, and occasionally change the route. Praise your pet for calm behavior, teach commands in a positive way, and show patience and consistency. Remember, a dog is not a human, it has different ways of communicating and a different view of the world. Thank you for your attention. If you want to learn more about dog secrets, feel free to contact me. Leave your comments and questions. NORKA is always in touch. Thank you all. Goodbye, everyone.